Hello, this is Marsh Mathematics, and in this video I'm going to be looking at trigonometry and using the graph method to solve simple trig equations. Right, okay. So here we have a graph of sine theta, and in the red area, I'll mark this in green, this red area here, these are the range of values that will be given by your calculator. They're called the principal values. So if I've got sine theta equals 0.5, if I put sine to the minus 1 of 0.5 in my calculator, it'll give me 30 degrees, okay? And if I put sine theta equals minus root 3 over 2, if I put that in my calculator, it'll give me an angle of minus 60. Okay, and you'll notice both these values, there's 30 there and there's minus 60 there. They're both within the red area. That's the range of values for the principal values and what your calculator will give you. But you should know that for either of these equations, okay, of sine theta, there's an infinite amount of solutions, okay? And so when we get questions, trigonometry questions with solving trig equations or finding values of sine theta and cos theta where theta is greater than 90 degrees or less than minus 90 degrees, we have to be able to solve this using the graph, okay? And there's another method called the CAS method, which I will look at in the next video. But the graph method is one of the methods used and is taught to you depending on what the teacher prefers to teach, the graph method or the CAS method. But really all examination boards now show both methods, and I think you should know how to use both methods and choose the best method for you. Okay, and sometimes people use different methods depending on the question. So let's have a look at a couple of examples here. Let's solve this simple equation here for this range, see, because it's the range that we need to focus on. So all we do, we put it in the calculator and we find the principal value. That's what your calculator will give you. Then we sketch the graph, and so remember this is the principal value range, okay, down here, and it's going to give you 45 degrees. So it's giving you that value, okay? So then we can say, well, okay, it can also be here. This is going to give me the same value, okay, using the symmetry of the graph, because they're both, okay, this is 1 over root 2 here. So this, using the symmetry, if this is 45 degrees up to here, and we go back 45 degrees, 180 minus 45 degrees gives me 135, okay? So that is the other solution, okay? If we look to all the way through to 360 degrees, there's no other solutions, okay? Now if we look at the next question, sine theta is minus 0.5. You put that into your calculator, okay? You put that into your calculator, rub that lot off, into your calculator, it's going to give you minus 30 degrees, so it's going to give you a value here. It's going to give you minus 30, really where that green line is there. So that's minus 30. Okay, so it's going to give you minus 30 there. Okay, and so we want it within this range now. The range is different this time, so we have to look within the range. So we have to go between minus 180 and 180 there. So we've already got this value, but we can see that this value, because this value down here is minus 0.5, and we can say that this is the other value here, and because this is 30, then we use the symmetry of the graph, and this is 30. So we can see that this value here is just going to be minus 150, okay, because it's 30 more than minus 180. which gives us minus 150. Okay, so that's using the sine graph. Now when we come to cosine, it's got a different range for its principal values between 0 to 180. Okay, so if we wanted to solve an equation using cosine, is an example there, cos theta equals 0.5. Now this is the range that you want to solve it in. Okay, they have to give you a range, because if they didn't give you a range, you just have an infinite amount of values. So that's why your calculator just gives you one value, you see, but in this range, not this range. So it will give you 60 degrees. So it's roughly where that is there. Theta, this is roughly 60 degrees. Okay, so it's giving you that value. It's a principal value. But we want it between 0 and 360. So if we come along here, this is going to be the other value, and this is going to, using the symmetry of the graph, this is 60, just like this is 60, and so this value is going to be 300 degrees. Okay, because they've both got a value there of 0.5. Okay, doesn't look like it on the graph, but it is. And so that's how we do that one. Okay, now I'll just rub that off so we can start again. If we want to solve this equation now, cos theta is minus root 3 over 2. You put it in your calculator. Now this time it's a different type of range, minus 180 to 180. So we're looking at going from minus 180 here to 180 there. Okay, we're looking at this range here. So we put it in our calculator and we get 150 degrees. So 150 degrees is roughly about here, 150. Okay, now we can see again that that's within up to 180. We can't go beyond, we can't use this value here because that's beyond our range. Okay, so but we can go backwards, okay, to this value here. You can see the symmetry there. Okay, so this value is going to be minus 150, because you can see that cosine is symmetrical about the y-axis. That's another thing about the cosine curve. Okay, so you can use its symmetry about the y-axis. Okay, and with both sine and cosine, they've both got a period of 360 degrees. That means that the values repeat every 360 degrees. So just go, okay, and I've said that about the sine graph as well up there. So we're just using the symmetry of the graph to find values using the sine graph and the cosine graph. And the only thing about it is that you have to be able to sketch the graph and remember what the graph is. And the most important thing is you can use your calculator to find the principal value, but then you have to be careful with the range, because the question is really about the range. That's what you have to focus on. Okay, now tan theta graph is the easiest one because it's got a period of 180 degrees. So a lot of people don't even bother using the graph or cast with tan, because okay, even though it gives you, when you put it in your calculator, it'll give you a principal value between minus 90 and 90, like sine. Okay, sine was between minus 90 and 90, and if we want to solve this equation, okay, tan theta equals 1, we find the principal value 45 degrees. But because of it's got a period of 180 degrees, all we need to do is just add 180 to it, and that's fine. So within that range. So if we had a different range, if we had minus 180 180 there, then we could just subtract 180 degrees. So that's the easy thing about tan. We can just add and subtract 180 degrees to find our other values within the specific range that we want. Okay. Now in the next video I'm going to be looking at the cast method and explaining where it comes from.